Okay, get comfortable because this might be a long one. From Synapse Films comes a 2-disc 4K Blu-ray edition of Dario Argento's 1982 Return to Giallo, Tenebrae, aka Unsane. So this is a film that I've bought many times. I'm a huge Argento fan. I'm a huge fan of Argento's classic period, and a lot of these things, they keep coming out in these great editions. With I previously bought this on Laserdisc. I owned it on. I had a VHS copy of a rental tape of the Unsane version, which was the only way you could get it in this country for a long time. The Unsane version of Tenebrae is the U.S. edit that was retitled and edited and had a different song at the under the end credits. So we'll get to that. I had the Roan Group Laserdisc, and there's a scene toward the end where glass breaks, and it's a really quiet, and like a glass shatters. And I was listening to it late at night with headphones, and it was like boasting this really cool new, high-end sound mix, and it scared the hell out of me. And I owned this on DVD, and I owned it on Blu-ray, and then Synapse put it out as a steelbook, and I bought that, and I have the soundtrack, and I bought an edition we're going to talk about, the 3-disc edition that Synapse put out. And now Synapse, what we're here to talk about today, what I've brought you all here to talk about today, is the 2-disc edition from Synapse Films. So what is Tenebrae? Let's get to that. So Dario Argento, wildly popular, stylish, influential Italian horror film director, started with Bird with the Crystal Plumage in 1970, and then is still making movies occasionally. Just did Dark Glasses a couple of years ago. Known for the Giallo film. Giallo, which I happen to have next to me, funny enough. Giallo were these Italian paperbacks. They were released from like at least the 50s onward, and it was Mondadori, this company. They would just put out these thriller books, and they were all kinds of things. They weren't necessarily even Italian novels originally. Some of them were like Ellery Queen, and some of them were, we picked one up in Italy recently that was actually one of the Fletch books, but they were all known for this yellow cover. Giallo is yellow in Italian, and the films that were based on these kind of stories became just known as the Giallo genre. So Tenebrae is a return to Giallo. Argento had started off with that, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Cat o' Nine Tails, Four Flies on Grey Velvet, and then shifted into Deep Red, which was Profondo Rosso, which was still more or less a Giallo film, and then did Suspiria, which is this weird fantasy horror kind of film, did Inferno as a follow-up to that, and a lot of people at the time thought Tenebrae was going to be the third installment in that Three Mothers trilogy, which he didn't wind up doing until years later with Mother of Tears, and it became Tenebrae, which is a return to form. So you fool, you've been talking for 3 minutes. What's this damn movie about? It stars Tony Franciosa, American actor Tony Franciosa, as let's say a Stephen King-like author who goes to Italy on a book tour, and people start getting murdered with either pages of his book found in their mouth or in ways in the method of murders in the book that has just been released. So a police detective, Giuliano Gemma, who's in a lot of Italian films and spaghetti westerns. He shows up as the police inspector who's just like Mr. Peter Neal, that's the main character we're talking about. Do you know who might be doing this? Do you have any clues? Can you help us figure out who's doing it? At the same time, might it be you? And clearly it isn't, because the murder happened while he was on the plane over there. John Saxon is in this playing his agent. Daria Nicolodi plays his press secretary or assistant or whatever. And it's just a lot of fun. It's gruesome, gory murders, amazing soundtrack by, not technically Goblin, but more or less Goblin, the band that had been known for doing soundtracks for him. I think one or two members of Goblin weren't there, or one member of Goblin wasn't there and had their own Goblin going on or something. So this is credited to just the members of the band. But the music is amazing. It just drives this movie. It's this great pulse-pounding, driving synth score, and it's a fantastic flick. I was able actually to see this on film, the Italian version on film in Philadelphia, courtesy of an Exhumed film screening just around Thanksgiving time. So this movie is fresh in my mind, then I dove into this Blu-ray to look at the extras and everything. So it's Synapse Films, so the transfer looks unbelievable. Whether you're looking at it in 4K or Blu-ray, it looks perfect. Don May Jr., who co-runs Synapse and is in charge of the restorations there, he will serve no wine before it's time. He does not release something until it's ready, and he makes things look the best they've ever looked. So image and sound are perfect in this, and the extras are just like a wonderful meal of your favorite food. So this is where the meat of this thing is going to be. The movie itself, I love it. As I said, it's stylish, some gruesome. There's one specific murder that I always think of in terms of spin art. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's some great surprises, and it's some really cool camera stuff in it too. So it's a 2-disc set. They're both essentially the same thing. So what we have here is the 4K UHD original cut of the film, uncut. You can listen to it in Italian, or you can listen to it in English with Italian with English subtitles, or English dubbed. The English version will have English titles at the beginning and the end, and there's a close-up of a book at the beginning of the film. If you watch the English version, that close-up is in Italian. If you look at it in Italian, the close-up of that is in Italian, as are the opening and closing credits. You have, and the extras are the same on both of these, by the way. So the English version is 110 minutes. So sorry, the English version is 101 minutes. It's the English dub, on-screen text in English. I just said that. The dubbing features actress Teresa Russell doing Daria Nicolodi, which is kind of interesting. If you recognize Teresa Russell's voice, it's like, why is that voice coming out of that woman? The Italian version is 101 minutes. It is Italian with English subtitles. I already said that. These sorry, I've got the notes over here. The commentary by Alan Jones and Kim Newman was recorded somewhere around 2009, 2011. That's excellent, and they've got a good sense of humor about. Alan Jones wrote arguably the definitive book of this, or so they say on this commentary, about Argento, and spent a lot of time with him and worked for the company that was distributing this film. So he has a lot of like firsthand knowledge of this film's release and things. And Kim Newman is just a great British film historian, author, critic. And then you get a commentary by Maitland McDonough. She is the woman who wrote the first Argento book I ever wrote, Broken Mirrors, Broken Minds, which to me was the definitive. I haven't read the other one. Hers was to me the definitive Argento book. You get and the commentary by Thomas Rostock. You get, this is excellent. This is literally, to me, worth owning this for. Yellow Fever, The Rise and Fall of the Giallo. It's a feature-length documentary about the history of Giallo films, from the beginnings in literary form to the films up until the modern day. And I was like literally writing down that they'd say, here's some recent films that are decent modern Giallos. You get a lot of participation from Argento. It's very Argento-centric, but this is an Argento movie that it's on. But you get Umberto Lenzi, you get Luigi Cozzi, you get Ruggero Deodato, you get all kinds of people who comment. This is 89 minutes. So again, it's almost as long as the movie itself. You get the alternate opening scene, which is a rare version with alternate footage. All the book pages are in English. In this one, that's 2 minutes. You get Being the Villain, a newly edited career-spanning interview with actor John Steiner, which is very good because he talks about all these different people he worked with and what it was like to be an English-speaking character actor, bit player in Italy at the time. You get the alternate Unsane US end credits. This is great. So for the US version, they slapped on, for some reason, and maybe for the Japanese version too, which was entitled Shadows. I guess it must have been because anyway, we'll get to that. The end credits of this had a song by Kim Wilde, who's mostly known for doing Kids in America, but it's a song that was slapped on the US version. So when the Roan Group put out this Laserdisc and they had Argento sit down to do a commentary, you're watching this, and at the end, that Kim Wilde song pops up, and he's like, what's this? What? And he gets like mad. He's like, who put this here? Like, it's supposed to be the end theme to the movie, the Goblin or Simonetti and Company theme, and it's this Kim Wilde song. So that was kind of funny. So you get to hear that in there. And archival featurettes, Voices of the Unsane, 2008, interviews with Argento, Nicolodi, Eva Robbins, cinematographer Luciano Tovoli, composer Claudio Simonetti, and assistant director Lamberto Bava. That's 17 minutes. Out of the Shadows, 2013, interview with Maitland McDonough, author of Broken Mirrors, Broken Minds. It's 12 minutes. Intro by Daria Nicolodi. That's super short. It's like 13 seconds. Screaming Queen interview with Daria Nicolodi, 16 minutes. Unsane World of Tenebrae, Argento interview, 15 minutes. A Composition for Carnage interview with Claudio Simonetti, 10 minutes. Promotional materials, international theatrical trailer that's 3 minutes. Japanese trailer that's 2 minutes under the Shadow title with the Kim Wilde song in there. Italian promotional materials, that's 9 stills. German promotional materials, 38 stills. Spanish promo materials, 8. Japanese promo materials, 16. US promo materials, 3. And miscellaneous images, 10. So that is this set. Let's look at it. So we get a nice slipcase with some cool new artwork, pretty gruesome artwork actually, depicting one of the scenes in the movie. You get the front and the back there. The slipcase slips off to reveal the same image, slightly, I guess the same image, maybe slightly farther back. And the back, crack it open, we get a Synapse booklet that lists all their releases. And then you've got the movie on UHD and Blu-ray. This is a must. If you're an Argento fan, if you're a fan of Italian horror, 80s horror, this is a must. This movie is great. I love it. But let me tell you, when I went to review this, it took me a little while to get to this review. I couldn't find the disc, and where was it? It's not with my pile of discs I haven't reviewed yet. Let me look. Oh, maybe I tucked it in with my Argento discs. I've got a lot of these new editions I've been buying, but not actually watching because I just know I love the movies. And I found it. I'm like, oh, here's that review disc. Here it is right here. This is the one. Wow, I was surprised they sent me this huge heavy one. And I went through and I reviewed this whole thing, and I found out that it was actually this one that they sent me. So I'm going to talk about this one too. So if you want to know the difference, that's for anybody who likes to freeze the frame. If you want to know the difference between these two releases, I'm going to tell you. So this version, this hard case 3-disc limited edition from Synapse Films that was put out, honestly, I'm not sure when, is a little bit different here and there. So we're going to just go over the tuck-ins first, and then we'll get to the meat of it. So it comes with a relatively thick book using alternate poster art. I mean, that's a sizable book with a lot of photos and writing on the film. And then it folds out. You have a poster. This is a really nice set. I'm not telling you to buy one over the other. I don't know if this one is even in print anymore, but it comes out with, like, I wouldn't even call that a mini poster. That's a decent sized poster with the original poster art and the Japanese shadow art. And then you've got the case with different artwork, and you crack it open, and you've got a set of lobby cards, and you've got different Synapse Films catalog, and you've got, now it's the same disc. So these two are the exact same discs that you get in this new 2-disc set. So if you missed out on this set right here, or you can't afford it, or you don't want to buy it, or you don't want to pay extra, whatever, you're getting the same thing. The extra is those aforementioned printed materials, and this right here. That is an Unsane Blu-ray. So you do get, and it also comes with a reversible cover, I'll say, that has the original poster art on it. So this 3-disc edition comes with an extra disc, an extra 4K UHD set that contains Unsane, and I will tell you what the extras are on that. It is 4K UHD. It is, so the film originally, it runs 90 minutes. So the full version is 101 minutes. So this is 11 minutes shorter than the English or Italian versions that are on this 2-disc set we're talking about. The 4K UHD Unsane cut features, the film originally had really jarring audio skips where they were just chopping chunks out of it. You can listen to it with a version where they smooth that out so the audio transitions aren't as jarring where the edits were, or you can listen to a version that replicates what those original chops sounded like. Basically what you're looking at here is the new transfer that was done for the main version of this film, just edited to conform to what that Unsane shorter cut was like, and with the original title card and end credits put back in. So you get revised English mono, original English mono, opens up with the Unsane title card just like right up front in your face. It severely truncates, if you know what I'm talking about, the spin art murder, which makes it, is a bummer, because to me that's like one of the coolest things in the movie. And you have the Kim Wilde song at the end. The extra, just one extra on this, it's the Take Me Tonight stereo EP. It lists it. It's basically the 45 version, 45 RPM single LP vinyl version of the song that's played under the end credits that was released in Japan. So it's weird to call it stereo EP because it's 4 minutes. It doesn't sound like it's a longer version of the song. Maybe it is. And while that plays, you get to see like the front and the back and the insert for the original Japanese physical release of that. So available now is available either way in the 2-disc 4K UHD Blu-ray edition, which is perfect, or in the slightly bigger, more expensive 3-disc edition from Synapse Films is Dario Argento's, dare I say, masterpiece. He made a few masterpieces, Tenebrae.